Why do deceased people wear veterinarians? Meng Po explained, it turns out that there are 3 principles of reincarnation. This life has life, wealth in the sky. Since ancient times, people have a reverence for death and fear. When a loved one passes away, family members will dress them in carefully prepared animal clothes. This custom has been going on for thousands of years. However, few people know. Why do the deceased have to wear animal clothes? Behind this seemingly simple custom, what is the hidden meaning? It's purely a matter of etiquette. There's a catch. Until one rainy night, the legendary Meng Po, who is in charge of reincarnation, appeared like an ordinary veterinarian, reveal this 1,000-year-old secret. The original way veterinarians dress, color matching, even every detail, both contain profound principles about reincarnation. Once these 3 hidden secrets of reincarnation are revealed, will completely change your perception of life and death. Wanli period of the Ming Dynasty. Suzhou House rests on Jiaozhou Watan Leaves Fall. On the most prosperous Guanqin Street in Suzhou City, there is an old shop called Centennial Veterinary Village, specializing in the production of various veterinarians. The owner's name is Shen Wanian, is a famous local veterinarian. Exquisite craftsmanship, renowned in the industry. This evening, Shen Wanian is busy in the store. Sends the veterinarian for a funeral tomorrow. Suddenly, the store door was gently pushed open. A cold wind blew in the rain. The shopkeeper also opened the door to scold. An old voice came. Shen Wanian looked up. Standing at the door is a man wearing old woman in plain gown. About 60 years old, gray hair, kind face, but with an indescribable sense of mystery. Strange thing is, it's raining outside, but his clothes weren't wet. Of course, open the door. Please come in. Shen Wanian put down the needle and thread in his hand. Do you want a custom veterinarian? The old woman slowly entered the store. Eyes swept over all kinds of veterinarians, and he said, "Okay, I'm looking to customize a veterinary suite for a friend of mine. But there are some special requirements. Please say we will try our best to satisfy you." Shen Wanian said enthusiastically, "The bee suit I want doesn't need to be too flashy, but it must follow the rules." Said the old woman, "And I wish you could tell me, why do deceased people have to wear veterinarians? What is the significance of this custom?" Shen Wanian was stunned for a moment. Been a veterinarian for over 30 years. No guest had ever asked him such a question before. This Shen Wanian scratched his head. "Old man, to be honest, I only know. This is a rule passed down from generation to generation, but why? I really can't tell." The old lady smiled, and it seemed, although you are an expert in making veterinarians, but the real meaning of veterinary medicine is poorly understood. Ask the elderly for advice." Shen Wanian said respectfully, "It's a long story." The old woman sat down in a chair. "Did you know? The making and wearing of veterinarians. In fact, it contains the profound truth about the cycle of life and death. Reincarnation." Shen Wanian asked doubtfully, "What does that have to do with being a vet?" "It matters." The old lady said mysteriously, "You have been a veterinarian for so many years. Have you ever observed carefully the styles and characteristics of different veterinarians?" Shen Wanian thought about it. I have some experience. For example, male and female veterinarians have different styles. The color is also exquisite, usually red and blue. Yellow and other colors rarely use white and black. That's so great. Then do you know why there are these differences? This Shen Wannian shook his head. I just made it according to the traditional style. I never really thought about it. No wonder the old woman nodded. Now not many people know the true truth. Just then, Zhao Li, Shen Wannian's apprentice, ran in from the backyard. Master, the Li family came to urge the craftsmanship just now. Explain that it is already used. Zhao Li said out of breath. Then I noticed the old woman in the store. I hurriedly saw the old man with my luggage. Zhao Li, go and pack the Li family's veterinarian first. I'm going to talk to the old man about something. Shen Wannian ordered. Zhao Li responded. Shen Wannian continued to talk to the old woman about the old man. The reasons you just mentioned. Can you tell me in detail? The old woman looked out the window at the rainy night and said, Did you know? Why do we dress the dead? This Shen Wannian never thought of this question. Probably to preserve the dignity of the deceased. It seems so on the surface. But what is the deeper reason? The old woman asked. Shen Wannian thought hard, but still can't think of the answer. In fact, veterinary dressing for the deceased to help them better survival in another world. The old woman said slowly, Another world. Shen Wannian was puzzled. Death is not the end, but another beginning. The old woman said, The souls of the deceased will enter another world, where they need the right attire to successfully pass various tests. Shen Wannian was fascinated. What do you mean? Veterinarians have a special role to play in another world. Exactly. The old lady nodded. And different veterinary styles, color, even the way they're worn means different things. At this time, Zhao Li ran in again. Master, there is a strange thing. When I was sorting out the Li family's veterinarian just now, I found that the length of the sleeves doesn't seem to be right. It's taking a little longer than usual. How could Shen Wannian frown? I have been a veterinarian for many years, never made such a mistake. It did grow by about an inch. Zhao Li said with certainty. The old woman suddenly laughed and said it wasn't a mistake. It's that you accidentally got it right. Did it right? Shen Wannian was puzzled. The veterinarian's sleeve. It really should be longer than usual clothes. The old woman explained. That has a special meaning. What does it mean? Shen Wannian and Zhao Li both asked curiously. The old woman did not answer directly. He asked, Do you know why the ancients said that the dead are the greatest? Because there is respect for the dead. Zhao Li guessed. More than just respect. The old woman shook her head. But here's the thing. The deceased is about to embark on a special journey. This journey is much harder than when I was alive. Shen Wannian was thoughtful. You mean, what else does the deceased have to experience in another world? Of course, said the old woman. The soul of the deceased has to go through many levels to reach the final destination, and veterinarians are there to help them. Pass these levels smoothly. How exactly did that help? Shen Wannian asked urgently. The old lady looked at them, and he said, "Okay, and that goes into the 3 cores of veterinary manufacturing, 3 secrets." Shen Wannian and Zhao Li asked in unison. Not bad, the old lady nodded. These 3 secrets regarding the fate of the deceased in another world. It is also related to whether they can successfully reincarnate. Just then, there were rapid footsteps outside. The store door was pushed open. A drenched middle-aged man came in. "Master Shen, help!" Middle-aged man kneeling on the ground. "My mother passed away last night, but the family is poor. We can't afford a good vet. Please be kind. Do me a favor." Shen Wannian knew this person. It's a coolie nearby, named Wang Ergu. "I usually make a living by working hard." "Wang Ergu, get up first." Shen Wannian helped him up. "I've heard about your mother. The beneficiary is you. Don't worry, I'll make you a set." But Qian Wang and the 2 dogs were embarrassed to say, "We'll talk about the money later." Shen Wannian waved his hand. "Death is great. The elderly cannot be left unclothed." Wang Ergu's tears welled up in gratitude. "Master Shen, you are really a kind person." The old woman watched from the sidelines, not in satisfaction. "Wait for Wang Ergu." After leaving, the old woman told Shen Wannian that you have a kind heart. That's good, but did you know what to pay attention to when making veterinarians for different people? This is some experience. Shen Wannian said, older people. Veterinarians should be more solemn. Young veterinarians can be a little more colorful. You're right, actually, but this is only a superficial difference. The old woman said, but here's the thing. According to the character and blessing of the deceased, to choose the right veterinarian. Character and blessing. Shen Wannian was puzzled. What does this have to do with veterinarians? It matters a lot. The old woman said that good people, veterinarians, can be a little more flamboyant. This will help them in another world. Get better treatment. Bad character. Veterinarians need to be simple. Otherwise, it may be the opposite. Shen Wannian listened to the old man in the clouds. How come I've never heard of what you said? Because this knowledge has been lost for a long time. The old woman sighed. Now people only know how to make veterinarians according to tradition. I don't know what that means. How do you know that? Zhao Li asked curiously. The old woman laughed but did not answer. Just saying that I have seen too many life and death parting. You get the idea. Then the rain outside gradually stopped. The moon peeked out of the clouds. It's getting late. It's time I left. The old woman stood up. Wait, old man. Shen Wannian has arrived. You haven't told me those 3 secrets yet. The old lady looks back and you really want to know. Of course, Shen Wannian knocked it down without hesitation. I've been a veterinarian my whole life. If you can understand the true meaning of it, then you will die without regret. The old woman looked at him. I looked at Zhou Li again. Then he said that since you sincerely ask for advice, then I'll tell you. But these 3 secrets matter. It can't be made clear here. Where is that? Shen Wannian asked. Child time after 3 days. You come to find me at Meng Po temple outside the city. The old woman said, Right there. I will tell you all my secrets. Meng Po Temple Shen Wannian was puzzled. Is there such a temple outside Suzhou City? Of course there is, but usually people can't see it. The old woman said mysteriously, Then you will know. Then the old woman turned and walked to the door. Wait, old man. You haven't said what kind of veterinarian you want to customize. Shen Wannian asked. The old lady smiled back. Then you will understand. Remember 3 days later. See you at Meng Po Temple. Then he walked out of the store. The figure soon disappeared into the night. Shen Wannian and Zhao Li face to face. They all thought the old woman was mysterious. Master, that old man is so strange. Zhao Li said, and what he said. Sounds like a fairy tale. Zhao Li scratched his head. What another world. What kind of reincarnation really exists? Shen Wannian pondered for a moment, whether it's true or not. We'll know in 3 days. Over the next 3 days, Shen Wannian has been restless. He began to observe carefully every piece made by a veterinarian, consider the possible hidden implications. He discovered that there are indeed many details that have not been noticed before. For example, male veterinarians usually have an odd number of buttons. Female veterinarians usually have an even number of buttons. Veterinarians have special decorations on their cuffs. These decorations seem random, but look carefully. You will find that there is a certain pattern. The third night, Shen Wannian and Zhao Li agreed. Come to the outside of the city to find Meng Po Temple. At first they found nothing. When in doubt, suddenly see, a small quaint temple appeared ahead. A plaque hangs on the temple gate. There are 3 quaint characters of Meng Po Temple written on it. There really is this temple. Zhao Li was surprised. It is said that the two entered the temple, and there were lights in it. The main hall is dedicated to a kind-hearted muse. Like you came. A familiar voice came from behind. The mysterious old woman slowly emerged. In the dim light, her figure is particularly sacred. You are really here, Shen Wannian said excitedly. Sit down tonight. I will tell you all the secrets about veterinarians. The old woman pointed to the futon and said, Shen Wannian and Zhao Li knelt down on the futon, waiting respectfully. Before we start, I have a question for you first. The old woman said, Do you know who I am? Shen Wannian looked at him carefully, and I had an epiphany. Are you the legendary Meng Po? The old woman smiled faintly. You are smart. Zhao Li was speechless. The legendary Meng Po really exists. Don't be surprised. Meng Po said, In this world, there's a lot you don't know. Now I'll tell you a secret about veterinarians. Shen Wannian and Zhao Li propylene generation. The first thing you need to understand, veterinarians aren't just for the living. More important, it's for a lifetime in another world. Meng Po began to say, when the soul of the deceased leaves the body, will experience a special journey. During this journey, veterinarians play a crucial role. What exactly does it do? Shen Wannian asked. This involves the reincarnation of veterinarians. Meng Po said, there are 3 important lessons in total. Each one is related to the fate of the dead in another world. Meng Po's words say here, suddenly stopped. He looked at Shen Wannian and Jiu Li. His face became solemn. What's the matter, Empress Meng? Shen Wannian asked respectfully. These 3 principles of reincarnation are of great significance. It cannot be taught easily. Meng Po said slowly, once you know these secrets, you have to take corresponding responsibility. What responsibility? Zhao Li asked curiously. The responsibility of inheritance. Meng Po said, you need to bring this knowledge. Pass it on to those who really need it, and make sure it's not abused. Shen Wannian said without hesitation, we are willing to take this responsibility. Very good. Grandma Meng nodded, so now I will forget this. 1,000-year-old secret to tell you. The 3 reincarnations of veterinary medicine. He paused. Looking at the expectant eyes of the 2, he continued to say, the first reason, regarding the choice of color. Second reason, about the design of style. Third reason, about the way you dress. These 3 principles, the perfect interpretation of the mystery of the cycle of life and death, master them, can help the deceased in another world get a better home. But just then, a strange sound suddenly came from outside the temple. Grandma Meng's face changed instantly. Someone came, and not ordinary people. Meng Po said alertly, it seems tonight is not the best time to teach these secrets. When will we know? Shen Wannian asked eagerly. Do you really want to know the truth of these 3 reincarnations? Meng Po finally asked. Shen Wannian and Zhao Li replied almost in unison. I want to know. Please have mercy on Empress Meng. At first, Meng Po looked at them. A moment of silence without a word, as if thinking about something, and he slowly said, yes. Since you are sincere, I will pass it on with the divine stone. Translate this sentence into English. Translate this sentence into English. Translate this sentence into English. Cannot be leaked. Translate this sentence into English. Translate this sentence into English. Shen Wannian immediately responded to the disciples' willingness. Translate this sentence into English. Zhao Li is also willing. Translate this sentence into English. Although Zhao Li did not understand the meaning of it, but also solemnly nodded, I am willing. Meng Po nodded. Hands together. Close your eyes and read. One Sanskrit sound. An invisible white light converged between his eyebrows. Spread out again. Like a breeze. Brushed through the hearts of Shen Wannian and Zhao Li. They just feel a moment in their head. Some ancient memories that have never been touched. Into the mind. Dream not dream. But it's very clear. That's the veterinary triple cycle. Meng Po slowly opened her eyes. The rest of my life is low and solemn from now on. You will be more than just veterinarians. The guardian of the soul's journey home. Shen Wannian's expression changed. I understand. Zhao Li's face suddenly looked like this. It turned out that veterinarians regarded it as the Zhou-ji of the Qingpu Bridge continent. Meng Po nodded and said that you have the same heart. as expected of the person destined to become this inheritance. Shen Wannian suddenly looked up. Put your hands together and ask Empress Meng. Can I pass on these three principles to the world? Let more veterinarians understand the cause and effect. Meng Po smiled slightly. If it was abuse, return disaster. Surenran is impatient. If you are not afraid of the root of goodness, you will know the way. On the contrary, it is the sin of asking for blessings. True wisdom is passed on only to the virtuous. Zhao Li nodded suddenly. I see. It makes sense that the law is not clear. At this time, the strange sound outside the hall came again. There seems to be an invisible wind howling. Meng Po's expression dropped. It is not advisable to stay long now. You leave quickly. Don't look back at that lady. You and I are just a projection of the messenger of reincarnation. After flying true body, this temple will also dissipate. Meng Po is indifferent to her compassion. But your mission is written on the wheel of fate. Inescapable. Shen Wannian and Zhao Li bowed 3 times with respect. Disciple obeys the law. In front of the temple gate, Shen Wannian couldn't help but look back. I saw the lights dim in the temple. A gust of wind blows. The whole temple quietly dissipates like morning mist, as if it never existed. Since that night, Shen Wannian reigned, making veterinarians as hastily as ever. He burns incense every morning to keep the day going. Calm down. He began to recite sutras for each king, rich or poor, all with heart. No materialistic hierarchy. Once a wealthy business person came to customize a veterinarian, embroidered with gold silk, jade button interlocking. Shen Wannian lived on the island late, although Lingzhen was rich, but he was mean. Veterinarians should not be flashy, otherwise it will lead to evil in the path of reincarnation. The wealthy business person left in anger. Soon came the call of the dream. After realizing it, he went back to the temple to admit his illness. Shen Wannian reclothed. The other was the death of a young ant. I can't even afford a finger pass. Shen Wannian personally made clothes and burned incense, dreaming of a white muse at night. I have the grace of your clothes. Afterlife blessing. Zhao Li is also growing up. From an ignorant apprentice, gradually become aware of good and evil, the true air of cause and effect. He often says, Master, now I understand. We don't make clothes. The one who paves the way for the soul. 10 years later, Shen Wannian is approaching 70. He renamed the centennial veterinary village Guyuanch. Refused the gift of lofty tongue, just for different winners. Compassion for the poor. A curtain hangs high in front of his door. Life and death have a reason. There is a concern about not changing the cycle one by one. Spend it with this thought. Legend of his own day. The west wind blows. Wonderful but quiet. A woman in white appears from a distance. Stand in front of the mausoleum and worship 3 times and then go with the wind. Later generations asked Zhao Li, have you never made a rich coat in your life? What an honor. Little Li Deo because he is not a doctor. He is someone who understands reincarnation, the secret of reincarnation among the 3 veterinarians. Shen Wannian never made it public throughout his life. But he left the world. It's not a formula or a secret. It's a mindset. Awe of reincarnation, compassionate death. And this Maybe it's what Meng Po really wants to pass on. Everyone is afraid of death. Little do they know that life and death are just battles on the boat of reincarnation. And a veterinarian is not the fruit division of the destination, but a pass to the next journey. What heart do you use to dress the dead in animal clothes? What kind of blessing do they use to go to reincarnation? So 3. Nonverbal. Non-written can be passed on. You can only substitute for mentors and apprentices. Respond to the heart.